Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Inspiring Voices. This is a platform where we bring you engaging conversations with leaders who are shaping their industries, breaking barriers, and redefining success. I'm your host, Arvind Sethi, partner and leader for assurance at the Indian member firm of EY Global. Each episode, we delve into unique stories of resilience, innovation, leadership, and today's conversation promises to be no different. I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today, Soma Ghosh. Soma is the head of finance for the India region at ZF Group, a Six Sigma black belt, and an Oracle certified professional. With a stellar career spanning multiple facets of finance and a strong commitment to strategic transformation, Soma exemplifies the evolving role of finance as a driver of growth and innovation. Soma, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome to Inspiring Voices.
Thank you, Arvind, and thank you to all of you and the EY team for such a great initiative. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Great. So Soma, I will, break our podcast into a couple of segments. So I'll commence, with let's start, I would say, with your professional journey, which has been truly inspiring. I'm aware that you've navigated through various roles and industries to reach this pivotal position as finance director for ZF Group's India region. So, could you share with us some of your key milestones that defined your career? Perhaps moments or decisions that significantly shaped your approach to leadership and financial strategy?
Great question, Arvind. Thank you for that. I think, guys, my academic career has been fairly good. I would say always a merit holder. I got pulled in by industries when I came in the merit. I'm a cost and management accountant, 10th in India. So I never had the dearth of job offers when I cleared and, started off very early. I was 21 and a half years old when I got into industry. And I always have this philosophy, Arvind, that as leaders, we are first HR managers, so we need to understand people. I was a single contributor until a fairly larger share of my career. I completed 28 years last year, very close to 29th year of my journey.
Wow.
And as a single contributor, I always missed leading teams. So what really shaped me is and helped me become a great leader, or rather significantly big role that I have is to lead people. And leading people gives you that diversity in understanding various perspectives, because each person is different.
Yeah.
The other philosophy I have is after of course believing that every person is an HR manager first and has to understand people. The other philosophy I have is change is absolutely inevitable in every single step that we have in our role, in our lives. And accepting the change and taking up challenges has been the key factor in my principles. So I was able to change my role, get out of the comfort zone after every 3.5 years. And that led to a lot of diversity in various aspects. And that's how I get the Six Sigma role in my previous job in Cummins, where I went out of finance and I did a whole time quality role. Not pursuing any Six Sigma finance project, but most of that was cross-functional. And that also opened up a lot of window to many other functions, which then got me the CFO role for the industrial engine business. So that's how, I kept going further and kept getting more diverse, kept leading teams, and very happy to state that in ZF that I lead, I have an excellent first line who are all management grades. There is not a single person who is not in the management grade, and they are good leaders, and then they also have a good ladder of people that they would look up to going forward. So that's how my professional journey has been shaped. I had great mentors. I still have good mentors. Any decision in my career is first through my mentors, and then the decision follows. Yeah.
Amazing. So, are the mentors within your business, or they could be somewhere outside the company?
No, they're outside the company. They have been mentors for over 2 decades now. And one of the things that I do, there's a self-assessment format that I follow for myself. It was introduced by one of my mentors, which I've also then, cascaded down to my people. It's basically assessing yourself, what you are personally, your soft skills, yourselves, your strengths, and then what you see yourself as in the next couple of years, where you see in the next 5 years, and finally till you retire. So that's what shaped me into that form that I am today. Because I was not as confident maybe 20 years back. I was, scared to do certain things, but today I think it's shaped me in a way. So that self-assessment is very important, where you reflect and then correct each step that comes out.
Amazing, amazing. No, I think you spoke about diversity, and that's a perfect segue for my next segment. Diversity and inclusion, if you ask me, are no longer just buzzwords, but essential pillars for any modern organization striving for success. But in your experience, how has the landscape for women in finance evolved over the years? And you've been now, you said 29 years, right, in this sphere, and especially since you are in the automotive sector, which I'm aware because I remember meeting you in Cummins as well, it's traditionally been a male-dominated space. And have you really observed any changes or progress in this sphere?
Yeah, absolutely relevant question, Arvind. I think the way this D&I has evolved over a period of time is amazing. So when I got into the first job with Atlas Copco, I was the only female manager in the entire organization. There was no female employee, by the way. There was a secretary to the plant manager that was hired because I had to get in, because my parents were scared. And I came very far off from the home. It was at Chakan, which was like 70 minutes to and fro those days, right? Uh, in comparison with those days till now, I think industries have opened up to having more women on the shop floor. In ZF, we have a line that's run by women, all women. There are 3-4 lines that's run by all women. So I think technology advancements, the literacy, the awareness that families have towards getting women into industry has been very heartening, evolving, very heartening. Today, what we also observe is, I can give an example. When I got promoted in Cummins, people thought that, okay, I'm a lady, so then the natural choice is to promote women development, and they said, okay, you're a woman, you're a natural choice. I mean, those are certain things that we have to ignore, so that we break these barriers of perceptions and bias. And organizations that I've worked with have been very, very great, from my perspective, to provide me that standing baseline foundation that make us all very strong as women. So it has changed over the years. There's a lot of diversity that we not only promote in gender in the right sense, we also in ZF we promote LGBTQ plus, and we have a lot of options there for this community, this group of community. We don't distinguish, and that's very important, because every individual has the right to feel belonged, has a right to be heard, has a right to say something in meetings, voice out opinions, and also be respected in its all way. I think
Right.
the organizations that I've worked with have been extremely promoted to this particular philosophy, which changes my perception as well to different people that we hire. It's not only about diversity in gender, but it's also diversity in representation. So what we ensure is, people from different states are hired. So because this is Pune and we are very, very close to speaking Marathi and the Marathi culture, we are also very well placed in Chennai, so we have more influence of Tamil, in that state. We are in Hyderabad, so we have Telangana and we have Telugu. But when we hire people, and we also ensure that they are, adequately rotated between and that's one of the criteria for promotions as well.
Right.
We ensure that this cultural diversity also then moves. So, as a woman leader, now that I am, I did not see this in the past. People had a lot of different ways or different perception towards eyeing women getting that role, and there was a time where we insisted that only women get hired.
Mm.
Okay, of course, giving due cognizance to quality of talent and the education. What we also insist is we look at attitude, because you can always get knowledge by learning, and education is a ongoing activity, continuous learning and education. But attitude comes with the person. It's basically the upbringing that brings the attitude factor. So that is something that is emphasized, apart from looking at basic perceptions which can be corrected through organizational policies and respect for equality, respect for diversity and inclusion. So that's how the times have shaped up, and today as we speak, it's we promote equal, but then to get equal 50-50 will take a few more years. But I think we've traversed a long way. All industries, I must say, have traversed a long way to ensure a fair representation of diversity in the overall communities.
Amazing. So I think that's amazing what you just shared with me. But if I were to get a little bit more specific and microscopic on the ZF group, uh, could you just share with us some initiatives or programs
Yeah.
that maybe you have led or witnessed that aim to foster a culture of inclusion and equity? Maybe you could share some examples where these initiatives have made a tangible impact within the organization, or if I may say, a broader industry in Pune or in India.
Yes. Actually, COVID has changed lives, has changed a lot of, uh, I won't say culture, but it has brought in a lot of flexibility mandate into companies. And that's also one of the primary reasons why we have a lot of flexible or work specific policies. Now, we have, to cite an example, we have a lot of LGBTQ communities working amongst us. We don't declare. And we also don't distinguish washrooms. Okay, they are free to use whatever washrooms. We also have the LGBTQ policy rolled out, especially to encourage the DNI concept. We have also introduced the marriage policy, because earlier what used to happen is there was a distinguished feature in the policy which never brought in that inclusivity within people, whether it's a man getting married or a woman getting married. So we've introduced the policies that give you some more time to settle down after marriage. We have policies for women integrating back to work. Because more often mothers, were not welcome after a break, and there were some families that did not allow the lady to come back, say even after 2 years of motherhood. Yeah, so we've introduced policies where women can come back to work after a break, a considerable break. We have mentorship policy where we assign mentors to such classes of women who are like, so we have these what we call as TED talks, but specifically for women folk, where we share about this harassment at work, harassment at home, how you're coping with that. So we have policies that take care of this, and especially flexible work policies where would-be mothers, they can spend more time at home. Some have bed rest, so we allow that flexible policy. We have a 3 and 2, so 3 days at work and 2 days, 3 days at work and 2 days from home. But in such cases, we allow that exception as well. We just very recently introduced a policy for differently abled community, where there are certain classes of work areas which can only be done by them. So we've made that exception. The paternity leaves and the maternity leaves still continue. They follow the legal framework as well, but those are additional policies. But flexibility when you want. That is another policy that we have, irrespective of the reason. If there is a social condition that needs an employee to be at home for certain months, that's also that we have introduced. So these were not existing before COVID days. I think they have taken more, impetus after the COVID days were over. And now, since we reintegrated back, I think there is more interest in coming back to work and work within teams. Most of the people don't want to be at home, but we have these policies there as a framework. You can exercise whichever you want to. and there are no restrictions. I think the manager just can approve it. We don't have further restrictions, no bureaucracy that is followed. There's a very clear cut approval system that we have. Then we also hired the DNI leader. She was recently 2 years now, but I think we've come a long way. We also got an award for diversity at work, enabling equity and inclusion. That's a very HR award. I think that's a common India specific award, but that's also given to ZF because we promoted these kinds of policies that make people more comfortable and make them happy to come to office.
Amazing. So is your plant within ZF Group a role model, or is it something India specific, or it's happening across all your locations globally as well? This
So
kind
all,
of thing.
yeah, so this is very India specific. So we are also an ambassador for the ZF Group Global. So we have a DNI leader who is now, more like a successor to the German boss that she has. And she's basically the ambassador to roll these policies India for global as well.
Amazing. Excellent. Okay, so moving on, another topic which is very, very relevant is innovation and sustainability. And these are critical topics across industries, today. And if I may say so, a finance function is no exception. From your perspective, as a finance leader, what innovations have you spearheaded at or adopted at the ZF Group with a basic purpose of enhancing operational efficiency while aligning the company's sustainability goals? Something around that, if you could share with us.
Sure. Very relevant in today's times. It says that if a CFO does not embrace AI, he or she is left out of place. So we have a specific team which spearheads AI and innovation. We introduced a lot of concepts, and we are actually practicing AR and VR, so virtual reality. So our offices, by the way, Arvind, you can actually see when our offices are getting constructed. So recently, I was privy to a factory design. You can actually get into the factory virtually and knock the doors, open them. So it gives you a much more broader window to the real side of things. So we have machine learning, we have artificial intelligence, we have use cases in finance as well. We use Power BI and Power Automate to have MIS and dashboards. We don't use PowerPoint slides anymore. These are real-time extracted down from the SAP portal, and then you just get a ready-made report. You can just click on any reporting unit details and you can flash the results off. Earlier, as you all know, we as finance are experts in Excel and various other Microsoft tools, but we don't use them anymore. Not that we treat them as redundant tools, but then there are much better tools that come today. One of the skill sets that I insist for people that we hire is some bit of knowledge into AI. We have a full-time AI expert in my team who also help with automation. We've been successfully able to automate a lot of AR processes, especially in our shared service center, which is in Chennai. There we are doing local for local and local for global. And very happy to tell you that we are spearheading a lot of innovations for global. So our MIS has been adopted by our US, so my peer in US. So she uses the dashboard that we had developed using Power BI. And we also use a lot of computer visioning. So what we do is we do the town halls, and in the town halls we invite internal experts which then come with used cases. And so it's basically training the trainer also as a concept, but we also then open the window out to what other use cases are there in ZF Group which India is not privy to, or what we do in India which they are not privy to. So this is exchange of information. And as I said, our board meetings are much smoother now because we don't use any PowerPoint slides. We just kind of flash off the results. It's easy for the board members to also see where, we see the forecast as, and these dashboards have become much more simpler. MIS has become much more simpler. Most of the processes which were like manual have been transitioned to a host-to-host interfacing, especially one of the projects that I had asked my team to pick up is in Treasury. So in Treasury, we listed down everything that was manual. and then got in touch with our bankers, and we said that we need this automated. We don't want to use any manual interface, because we also had an internal audit observation coming up, because it's not about tampering with the data, but then it's also about how you are more influenced to use certain things your way if you do it the manual way. So we've been able to come a long way on innovating stuff. I know it's never 100% progress. We are somewhere around 60-70%. There's a lot many road that we need, a lot of road that we need to cover. But so far, I think we've been a benchmark to most of the processes for the ZF group globally. There's an Indian, colleague that I have sitting in Germany. He used to be in the erstwhile WAPCO, which we acquired in 2021, as you know. ZF acquired the WAPCO group, and it's known as CVCS India Limited. That's a listed entity. So he used to be based in that entity, and now he's based in Germany. He is the one that gives us the use cases in finance, and that's what we then adapt. We have an in-house team which does even bots. We have 2 bots running in finance, especially, which reads the invoices and then gives you the scanned output for that to be processed on a 3-way match into the P2P system, procure to pay system. And we have one bot that runs into the customer collections and the matching concept that we have with application of invoices with the receipts. So that's what we do as far as the bots is concerned. So we have a good team based out of India and global that help us with innovation within finance.
Amazing. That's a fantastic transformation journey. Amazing. So if I want to now look at your visioning and an outlook, and I'm aware that the automotive industry is undergoing a seismic shift with technological advancements, electrification, and increased focus on sustainability. We just discussed a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But you, as a finance director for such a dynamic region, how do you plan to navigate the financial challenges and capitalize on the opportunities these changes bring? So if I were to be a little bit more specific, what role do you envision your function, this is a finance function, playing in supporting ZF Group's long-term strategy, in this evolving landscape?
Sure. And that's really the reality today as we speak. ZF is into 3 segments. One is the electric segment, so electric technology and powertrain. The other one is, that's the pass car segment. We have commercial vehicles. So with the acquisition of the WAPCO group, we have become number 1 in the commercial vehicle technology. So we do braking technologies and others, especially what you see in a truck and a bus. And that's moving towards the electric drives. So, people want to sit in AC cabins. So the drivers that have long routes, they want to sit in the comfort, cabins. And then the last segment that we deal with, not the least, is the industrial segment, where we do gearboxes for windmill on one hand. And we also do off-highway transmissions, which is basically your suspensions. And if you want to relate to an example, so the Vande Bharat train runs on ZF suspensions. Right. Wow. So those are actually imported from Germany, but we are trying to do it local for local. So we're talking to the government and also partnering with a few more companies to get the tender. Now, today, if you look at the automotive industry and the recent budget also, several budgets in a row, I think our Honorable Finance Minister impresses upon the use of technology and moving towards the outside of the carbon footprint into more E sort of technologies. And ZF is absolutely into that. The issues we have with the India market is our customers, especially the ones that are very huge producers of pass cars. Maruti Suzuki is one of the largest has the largest production of vehicles today. With likes of Maruti Suzuki, you have Hyundai and other customers. I won't name all of them, but key ones. They have not experienced the technologies that we have in our cars. So, as a strategy, what we decided is to import a few cars with the technologies built in. The recent one was at Bharat Mobility, where we showcased our BMW car with the easy turn feature, which allows you a radius of 90 degrees. So, you really don't have to back off and park. So it just gets into the parking. So that was something that we were able to showcase. We are actually also trying to import, it's on its way to import the ADAS technology, which is Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. Because our customer said that, hey, we don't have experience with those cars. Now, as finance people, our main job is that of a shared service. So what we do
Yeah.
is we are basically offering services to various cross-function departments, and it's no longer a CFO, but it's basically a business partner, more of a consultant, internal consultant. So everybody comes, and finances is where they stop, right? Either not only for funding but also in terms of guidance. So what we are
Hmm.
really strategizing, the ZF group in India, we are a 10,000 plus crores company today in a consolidated form. It came a long way, Arvind. I started off when it was 400 crores, and now we are as a group 10,000 crores. So that's a huge shift, and a lot of diverse, products that have been introduced. But all that happens is in the headquarters. We don't have experience of the customers with our products in India. So as a strategy, we said that let's design a long-term 7-year plan, which probably goes beyond 2030. In that process, we also expose the company to the tax incentives. So we have two legal entities that were introduced because of the section 115 BAB, which is setting up organizations for manufacturing legal entities. So we set up two for the effective tax rate of roughly 17%. That's happened, and that was a strategy that we introduced. Then the PLI. So we have two entities under PLI. One is in the textile front, which is of our JV Rane, ZF Rane, that
Yeah.
does the seat belts and the safety systems. So typically the webbing that happens on the seat is what the PLI entity does. That's known as occupant safety systems. That's an entity that we have in Trichy. And we have the manufacturing entity belonging to the commercial vehicle in Chennai, which is a subsidiary of the listed entity. So these are two entities that we recommended that the management introduced. So that's what was our initiative as finance, because we also have to open our perspective to current affairs. So it's very important to stay connected with the government associations. So we do a lot of partnering with ACMA, CII, NASCOM. We represent our technologies and products. We speak to the ambassadors of various governments, including the German consulate, who visits in our technology center in Hyderabad. So Hyderabad has the technology center that hosts 4,000 people today, engineers. That's also around 7.5 years old. And that's the technology center for rest of the globe. And, we are the best cost country. So as in our key role as finance, what we ensure is the business gets the right support, the
Hmm.
business gets the right direction, and we also give these feeders into the business that if you invest this will be your ultimate business case. And I won't be I'll be true to myself that business cases are generally in three scenarios: most realistic, optimistic, and pessimistic.
Hmm.
Either way, if it goes wrong, then you don't stand up and say that, hey, I did this. You have to also keep this contingency factor, and most importantly, alert the organization on headwinds. Help the organization to prepare, represent the organization in several forums that we do to promote a lot of technologies, promote a lot of cost features that we bring, the value that we add into the products, because customers need the best products at the least cost.
Correct.
So, the differentiating factor can be only highlighted when you bring in the value add. So that's what we support the businesses with. And I feel that, as finance, we should be approachable to every single issues. It need not come from the managing director. It can come from anybody in the organization, and no idea is stupid. So moment you
Hmm.
have this broad perspective to things that come and hit you, and then you provide solutions, then you are a go-to person. So I'm happy to say that my team, across the organization, we have 85 people in finance. I think all of us know our job, and we are contributing to the long-term strategy of the company. As we speak, we are presenting to the board on how the light vehicle industry for India is changing, given that we are, soaring high in terms of economy, and our GDP is now fairly stable at around 6.5, 6.7%. With the rate cuts that are happening, how are we hedging our products? There are a lot of things, Arvind, that is ongoing as finance people that organizations can highly benefit. So I would strongly encourage people to stay open to ideas and contribute to their 100%. Response time is extremely important, because if you sit on decisions for ages, then they don't see any value add, right? And no mail is irrelevant, even if they are copied mails, but every mail has a reason. That's why you're copied. So these are some of the concepts and principles that I feel adds more value to the function in its own sense.
Amazing. I think there's a lot of takeaways there. And I think the overarching thing is that how finance can be a strategic contributor at the board level. And that's exactly what you are showcasing. Amazing. So, looking beyond the immediate challenges, what legacy you hope to leave behind? Both within the ZF group and the broader finance community.
Certain things is, as I mentioned, I think change is inevitable. Adopt the change and adapt to the situation. That's very important. It's very important to stay current. And develop people. So, the legacy is you're a reflection of your team. So if your team is there, you're there, so respect the diversity that this brings. Ensure that, you leave a legacy of people that can be torchbearers for yourself. I'm proud to say that there are a lot of people in Cummins that I had hired, and they are at senior positions. So that gives immense pleasure in the mentoring that we do as leaders, and how to see them scale up. Secondly, I think technology, as we speak, is inevitable. It's actually putting most of the manual stuff on the back burner. It's making things more prudent and more accurate. India is the country where UPI, is rampantly used. It's not there in the rest of the world. So make most advantage use of technology. Stay current, represent wherever it has to be represented, and ensure that people have an open mind towards change. It's very difficult to accept the change sometimes, but I think be an example for the others to follow. Even if say I move out from my current role, I'm sure that there has to be standard operating procedures that enable easy handover, takeover. There has to be procedures for everything. You cannot assume, and it's very easy to maintain procedures. You have SharePoints, you have so many data devices where you can crunch data and store it for ages. We have the data retention policies, but use them as some. So most of the times, Arvind, my observation is they don't use what is available. And then we crib about the system doesn't give this and that. So I think that needs to be explored further. It's extremely important to stay updated. Education and being as inquisitive like a child is extremely important. So these are some of the values which are promoted, in my team, especially during town halls or during team meetings. How one should behave with people, certain individual behaviors that really influence the rest of the teams is extremely sensitive to believe in and practice. So there are some, these are some of the things, that I would like to leave behind, as we move forward in our careers, so that people then emerge as better leaders as well.
Amazing. I think that's some of the very apt stuff that you are shifting and within your team members. So let's shift gears and talk about the personal philosophies that shape your style of leadership. So what values or principles do you hold closest when it comes to making a decision or leading teams, and at the end of the day, driving an impactful change?
Yeah, that's very close to my heart. I'm a mentor myself. I also mentor a lot of students outside office, outside career, and also help women get back into their careers, integrate back after their pregnancy, etc. So one of the key principles that I have is you have to keep learning. You would see that I was also privileged to be sponsored to the general management program with IIMA, and that is extremely important because you're not only finance, so keep learning. One should keep learning. On decisions, I think, as I mentioned, as support function, people rely on decisions. And if you sit on some certain important decisions, you may miss the bus. The company may miss the bus. So be absolutely prompt in decision making, reasonable decision making. Taking risks, because unless you take a risk and get out of the comfort zone, you don't get an upsurge to the career. I think coming out of the comfort zone is extremely important, because then people feel cozy. Whenever you feel cozy, you just get out of that. That's one of the principles I have. The other one is be approachable. It's extremely important to be approachable to people, because they come to you for a reason. And they come to you because they believe that you have the knowledge and the ability to support them. So never close doors, never work with a closed room culture. Be open and transparent, and also be open and transparent with the teams, because one of the polls that I had during the first town hall a couple of years back is, what would you like us to do? So they said, we don't even know so many people, because we are spread across locations, and they hadn't met any people, and we didn't have really the budget to have offsites with 8,500 people in one room. So it's very important to understand the pulse, because if you don't understand the pulse, then they will lose trust, and
Yeah.
trust is what takes us forward in the leadership journey. Trusting people, not micromanaging teams, understanding families is extremely important, knowing them by the first name, understanding what's going on in their houses, sometimes going up to their desks and checking in, on their health, on the family's health also plays a very important role. Rejuvenating not only yourself, but also allowing them to take vacations, planning their vacation calendars, asking them to plan. That's one of the things I do, and I've been doing for many years now, because everybody needs a break. It just recharges batteries, and for them, and they come with motivated spirits. So that's something that I practice. Whenever somebody goes out for a session or a course, we have further sessions down the line for the entire team. So say two people go for an in-days session. ICA, I think, had organized recently. So two people were sponsored. Now they are training the others. So we already finished training on 16 standards, a few more to go. So practice learning after you get learned. Then promote higher education. So we also have this policy in the organization, higher education, because there are certain things which may not be related to your work, but then people may have
Yeah.
interests. So promote that. The other thing is, be a mentor in the organization. So I'm a mentor to 4 people, easing their way out up the ladder, and becoming a friend. So that's one of the objectives. And most importantly, helping people get financially independent in their personal front. So I take a lot of sessions on how to get financially independent. Many people didn't understand a lot of concepts. So what is really a balance sheet, P&L, trial balance? These are some non-finance stuff that we teach to the non-finance stuff to the non-finance people. So these are some of the things, Arvind, that we've been practicing, and I really enjoy doing that.
Amazing. I can see overdose of empathy in your leadership style. I think that's so very, very important. So I think, one thing, the buzzword, or what you may call work-life balance, is often a challenge for leaders, and especially those who are managing demanding roles like yourself. So how do you, maintain this balance? Are there any practices or hobbies or habits that help you recharge and stay focused? You did mention some of them in the prior response, but if some couple of them you can highlight.
Sure, and it's so important. First of all, at work, let me split this into two halves, at work and at home. So I am single by choice. I take care of my parents who are gracefully aging now, and I enjoy doing that. So that's at home. But at work first, I think it's very important for us leaders to prioritize, because not every work is important and urgent. So it's very important to have these quadrants where you decide what is important and what is urgent, what can be done, after certain hours and after certain days. So that's very important. Otherwise, everything comes and lands on desks. If you
Yeah.
have very organized teams and if you know your people, then it's easy to delegate. So a leader cannot be a leader unless that person delegates.
Mm.
You may be extremely good at work, but if you don't delegate, then you're not developing your people, you're not trusting your people. So it's extremely important to prioritize, delegate, and then lean on them to do the work, based on the objective set. But very clearly set the direction, understand what each one has to do. And then once you do, you just go ahead and track the results. And of course, lend a supportive hand or shoulder to people when they need your advice. So that's extremely important for us to manage. And now, typically, if you look at the share of emails that come and hit inbox, is around 400, 500. Do we look at everything? I think we all should we should learn to read diagonally, not horizontally, because if you read diagonally, then I think the key buzzwords are the ones that you need to catch, so that you at least read the subject and get a sense of it. And it's extremely
Mm.
important to know the organization, understand policies, know products, understand market, understand customers, and understand suppliers. And extremely important for you to stay connected with people one on one. So these, catch ups really help. Team meetings help. And so that's at work. When it is time to represent in the boards, so I am a director in two boards, it's extremely important to know the agenda in advance. So, be prepared, be well prepared. Even if you don't own up the slides, you have to own them up when you present. So you can't say, I'm coming back to you in some time, I'll go through and come back. So that's not something that we can do as leaders, right? You have to know the subjects. So prioritize, own the work, understand what people do, delegate, and ensure that you give a good balance of leading and sharing information and decision making. Now, on the other side, we spoke about rejuvenation, but it is
Mm.
also very important to manage the home load. Now, with aging parents, the responsibility shift, because then you have to be on the caring side. So life takes a full circle. So, parents take care of us and we take care of parents. I'm in that share of life now. And it's amazing, Arvind. I really enjoy going back home, seeing my parents, and then do something for them. So it's whether it's cooking or doing something that makes them happy, going
Mm.
out on long drives to places. That's what I do. At work, I take my team out to picnics, whether it's a sponsored or a self-sponsored thing, doesn't matter. These things extremely mean a lot when it comes to going out and recharging all of our batteries and eliminating that leadership subordinate manager subordinate culture. So this is what I do very frequently. And at home, I personally sing, so I sing to my heart's content during the weekends. And I do a lot of yoga. I think a sport is very important in everybody's lives to keep that recharging going on every time. My work day ends typically between 7:30. It's never very long nowadays, because I think once the structure is known, as I said, delegation is easy, and I don't disturb my team during weekends. Neither, I mean, it's to and fro. It's
Yeah.
We don't disturb each other. Neither my boss does nor I do. So it's a cascade of respect of personal time. Vacations are also respected, but I think it's important to check certain emails as authorized signatories, or certain board commitments 1 hour in the vacation time. So doesn't matter, 1 hour is 1 hour. Sometimes it gets to 2 hours, but never shirk from responsibilities. And there are several ways that my parents and I enjoy at home. We spend, thanks to the hybrid culture and the virtual world. I wish this was in person, but the virtual world, I sometimes like this, because I am able to spend 1 month in Kolkata, my hometown. during the Durga Puja festival. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3-4 years. Commitment to work is always there, but this respect that, and the trust that Soma will do her job, that's very important, and the organization enables it. So that keeps me going, Arvind, and fortunate and privileged to be able to enjoy this privilege. Thanks to my leaders and mentors in ZF to trust me and allow me this personal time. So that's what happens, and so far work-life balance is great. No complaints about that. I mean, I chose this profession, so there are no regrets, and I'm happily doing what I love to do. So that's what I'm today.
And amazing, amazing. I mean, what you're saying is you love what you do, and you also have a passion which you practice over the weekend. So that helps you differentiate a weekday from a weekend. And this is so very important to make sure that Sunday and Saturdays are different than other weekdays. Excellent.
Yeah, sorry, Arvind, I forgot one thing. I have to say this. I read a lot of standards. Keep myself updated on Companies Act changes. Yeah. So I missed that. That's very important. I think as professionals, we have to be updated. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I missed that. Sorry to cut you.
No, that's fine. Perfect. So this has been wonderful, Soma, spending the time with you. So just to wrap up, could you share maybe a particular accomplishment or a moment in your career that you're especially proud of? I mean, I heard many stuff you just spoke to me about, but I'm sure there's one, which really stands out. And perhaps something that was both challenging and rewarding, and it still continues to inspire you to push boundaries. That'd be wonderful.
Yes. There was one particular incident when somebody wanted to put me under the bus. And I think I sprung up victoriously with a lot of respect and continued for a very long time. The other one is, becoming a Six Sigma black belt. I was the only one in the finance function doing things out of the box, out of the routine. And lastly, when I came in the merit, I think that was something that was not very easy. Those days, the CWA exam, giving 2 groups in 4 days was very challenging. And I was always so I remember a funny incident. My mom said that go have lunch and go, okay, because if you fail you will not be able to eat food. Okay, so I followed her instructions, and I was happy to see my roll number in both the lists. And I was first in Pune, and I was also in the board in 12th. I was third in Maharashtra. So it was never a failure that I could accept. So seeing joy in so many people's eyes gave me that, it was very overwhelming for me. And career, I already spoke. I think every milestone is an example, but these 3 are specifically. One is, standing up in the CW exams and ranking up, the merit list.
Amazing. Hats off to you. So Soma, it's been truly inspiring to hear about your journey, the impact that you've made in the finance world. I can vouch for that, and the vision that you're shaping for the future. So thank you once again. I really enjoyed this last maybe half an hour to 45 minutes for joining us and sharing your insights.
Equally is my pleasure, Arvind. Good to see you after a long time. I would really applaud UI to drive this particular initiative. I think I personally was inspired by a lot of other voices that I could hear, on the podcast series as well. I subscribe to that as well. Really a commendable job, and I really feel privileged and grateful to be a part of this. Thank you so much for choosing me as one of the speakers. Privileged to be that.
And we'll catch up soon, very soon.
We'll catch up soon. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Inspiring Voices. Stay with us for more conversations with leaders shaping the future of the industries. All the best. Bye-bye.